All right, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast. The sports reporters who have indeed reassembled. Bob's not dancing. It's rainy maybe in
I'm
in
pointing.
New York.
I'm pointing.
Why are you pointing?
I don't know.
Who are you pointing at? Me? Andrew?
The viewers.
Yes. Right there on YouTube. YouTube.com/Chase Thomas podcast. We're over 1,000 subscribers now, just on YouTube alone. So we're doing really well on that front. So I appreciate you guys watching wherever and however you're watching or listening to this very program. We greatly appreciate it. We also greatly appreciate the NCAA for ruining my weekend with putting the Tennessee Baseball Super Regional in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where rain was in the forecast days ago. And you know where it didn't rain yesterday? Where it was beautiful? Knoxville, Tennessee. Do you know who would have played a full baseball game yesterday? In Knoxville, Tennessee. So shame on the NCAA, shame on this entire monstrosity of an event that we now have to do a doubleheader, jumping right back in with a runner on first in the fifth inning here to make it through the Super Regionals. Just an embarrassment all around. I'm so fired up and so annoyed that I'm going to have to spend 6 hours of my day doing this doubleheader, hoping that Tennessee can make it through so we don't have to spend another day in that environment, in that state that Tennessee should not have had to go to in the first place.
The town that Brett Favre built?
Yeah, I am. Andrew, you know I'm fired up. You could imagine how all Tennessee fans were yesterday over the monstrosity, Bob, of what's going on in Hattiesburg.
Can we just talk about this real quick?
Yes, we'll do 30 seconds because Bob's only got 30 minutes here.
Yeah. So super regionals in terms of where they are being played, there needs to be an actual like a deep dive in how we fix this stuff, because another super regional, TCU, Indiana State was a ranked team. Like they were a rank. If you're in the top 16 seeds and you make the next week and you make the second weekend of the tournament, you get to host. I get there were circumstances in the way of Indiana hosting, but you could have found a way to do it. So yeah,
there's just no transparency. And Bob, it's insane. After 16 seeds, everyone's not seeded. So the two seeds here, Southern Miss and Tennessee, you don't really know what went into why Southern Miss got to host over Tennessee.
But teams can put in bids to host if they make the second weekend.
But both did, and they didn't explain why a certain university did not host and one did. Bob,
sounds like the NCAA.
Yeah, it's great. We're having a great time. We're all having fun here. I'm not mad. I'm actually laughing. Bob, is it a good idea for the Phoenix Suns to move on from Chris Paul this offseason?
No. No. I really don't think, unless they've got some very complicated deal worked out for a different starting point guard, the Phoenix, or they're going to cash him in for multiple players. I'm sorry. I think Chris Paul still has it. Chris Paul, I know that you're dealing with Chris Paul injuries. I know you're dealing with Chris Paul's inevitable playoff flame out. I know he is, 38 years old now? How old is Chris Paul going to be?
I don't think
Jamie?
38. Is he 37?
Jamie?
I was going to say maybe 36, 37, something like that.
Oh, he is 38.
37.
He just turned 38 in May.
He's 38 years old. That is, for a 5'11" point guard, there is not a long history of NBA floor generals or guards at all under 6'3" and under who last into their late 30s. He had a drop off this year. He wasn't as good as he was the previous 2 years with Phoenix, and I know Phoenix is trying to save money. To me, the elephant in the room in all this, and there was a very good column that David Thorpe and Henry Abbott published on True Hoop. It's on
Great
the
blog.
Substack, but that particular installment is free to read. I would recommend you check it out. They talk about a number of trades possibly for Damian Lillard, but I think the bigger question, and a lot of people are covering this, the new CBA for teams over the apron is going to be prohibitively restrictive. And there are going to be, I think the phrase that Abbott used is that the new CBA in 2 years, when it actually kicks in, is going to run through the NBA like a Mack truck. And so you're going to see, and it's going to do a couple of things. It's going to increase the seemingly devalued first-round draft pick. Expiring contracts are going to become a thing that has actual currency again, and superstar players are not going to get every single pick from now until the end of time, plus players. Like, superstar trades are going to happen for less because the financial constraints that the whole league and the Players Association decided was cool is going to force a lot of changes. So I think Phoenix is looking ahead, is what they're doing. They're saying we already are spending, I don't know what the contract is. Durant's contract is $40 million. I think Booker's is 30, and it's escalating. We're going to be spending $70 to $80 million plus in the next couple of years on two guys, and we can't afford to pay Chris Paul $30 million next year if we want to have a functioning team that contends during the remainder of Kevin Durant's prime. So that, to me, is the motivation for this. I think they're hoping that Chris Paul really wants to re-up for less money, but stretching his contract is a real possibility. I don't see a pathway to getting better if they do that, unless they can do that, though. But one other thing, Andrew, where can I get your "Damn I'm Good" T-shirt? Because that
so
I would like to purchase that for myself. Because damn, I am good.
So I don't know if you ever heard the T-shirt brand Homage, but they have like or homage, whatever.
I was going to say, is it actually pronounced homage this whole time? I just said
it's an homage.
Yeah.
Homage.
Yeah. So basically, like, they just have like these different T-shirts, and I saw it one day, and I was like, yeah, I need this.
It's a good shirt.
Thank you.
Quality shirt. This is not a paid spot, but I want that shirt.
Could be. Yeah. I would welcome a homage.
You didn't say it right.
Hey, I just got to let the people know that, damn, I'm good.
Yeah, in T-shirt form. Now you don't even need to say it. It
just
there you go. And then Bob's repping LeBron today with the French hat because what was his post?
He was at Le Mans.
Also,
we had Jimmy Johnson driving a NASCAR V8. We had NASCAR at Le Mans. That is the most American thing ever. God, I love this country. When we aren't hiding secrets in bathrooms.
Who would do such a thing?
No, never heard of him.
My papers. Andrew, CP3, do you think he makes more sense on the Clippers or the Lakers? Because I think that's how this ends. If he gets stretched, I think he winds up in one of the two.
If he goes, probably the Lakers, because why not complete the LeBron and friends banana boat? I've teamed with my buddies. Not only
get LaMelo back. Get Melo back, rather. Get Melo out of retirement.
I was going to say, you don't need to get him out of retirement. Just make him an assistant coach, like a bench guy. Like, he would do that for a year.
Not only do you do it internationally with Team USA basketball, but you also have the aspect of, oh, hey, we're doing it domestically. God, I sound like a soccer guy now.
You do.
But
you do.
No, I mean, look, will it make sense for the Lakers to get Chris Paul for a discounted rate? Sure, cool.
Yeah, then they can move on from D'Angelo Russell's expiring contract. I think he's an expiring contract.
Yeah.
I think, yes, that's correct.
The funny thing is that there's a team out there that I think a few people are talking about, but nobody is taking seriously, probably because it won't happen.
Say it.
The Boston Celtics. They needed a point guard in the worst way for
people are talking about the Celtics. I heard the Celtics mentioned. That's not true. No, it's not true that nobody's talking about the Celtics as a CP3.
But I'm talking about a serious destination.
But is the CP issue in Boston the same thing like Dame, where he's just like, they're rattling off teams to him and he's like, I'm not going to Boston? I wonder if it's the same thing with CP.
Okay,
where he's like, I'm not living in Boston.
I love Dame. Don't get me wrong. I love Damian Lillard, but buddy, you're basically Pacific Northwest Alex English right now.
Whoa! Whoa. Somehow that's insulting to both Dame and Alex.
I'm just saying, like, okay, you want to sit here and go, oh, I'm not going here, I'm not going there. Buddy,
he doesn't want to leave.
Willingly stayed in Portland. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with it, but it's
he has it until Damian Lillard says, and not on a boxing podcast, until he gets an actual statement from Damian Lillard saying, we get information, because he won't say it publicly. He'll say it to Joe Cronin and the Blazers Brain Trust. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't think he's going anywhere either. That's why it's just kind of
even the Celtics, no team that could put together a reasonable offer for Damian Lillard would then be able to contend with Damian Lillard. I mean, again, I'm going to refer to this True Hoop blog. They put together a bunch of fake trades, and boy, do they all suck for the Blazers.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, are they bad.
What was the worst one? I can pull it up.
Yeah, you can pull it up. I'm not remembering it at the moment.
All I just remember seeing from the Blazers deals were, like, because I think they had, 3 or 4 different ones?
I think one was based on, like, OG Anunoby.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of, hey, we're gonna.
It was OG Anunoby, and then they moved back in the draft and get Anthony Black. As a concept, I like it. I like fake trade blogs, but
Bob, you know how like NFL teams go through that phase where it's like, hey, we're gonna take a step back for 2 or 3 years, but then it becomes like 5 or 6.
You're talking about the Houston Texans right now. Or the Arizona Cardinals.
That's the vibe I got from all of those trades.
Yeah. Oh, here's the best one. I'm looking at it right now. The best one's Cat and Minot for Lillard. I would do that from Portland. Like, if you feel like you're going to lose it and Cat's not going to mess up your kind of tanking, you're going to have the number 3. You have Scoot right there potentially to jump right in. You have Shaden Sharp.
Yeah, why not?
That's as equal value as you're going to get in a Lillard trade.
That is, yeah.
If that is, then
Cat's contract is $60 million in a couple of years. It's so bad. And
I don't know.
We've been waiting for Karl-Anthony Towns to play up to his abilities now for pretty much the entirety of his career.
Yeah,
you're banking on that happening. Otherwise, he becomes
But he goes to Portland. He can hide out. Like, I don't know. No pressure.
Oh, right, because of the white-hot intensity of the Minneapolis-St. Paul media market is what's held him back.
Look, Steve McPherson pulls no punches. You know this, Bob.
He goes from one relaxed media market to a very super-duper relaxed media market.
Yeah. Tim Falkus has been unbearable to Cat since he arrived.
Sean Hyken at his paid subscribers site, Rose Garden Report, has also written a great deal about Damian Lillard and why he doesn't think it's going to happen. I'm going to default to.
What was his overriding thesis as to why?
The best overriding thesis is what I said. I'm stealing his idea. The thesis is that there's no team that can put together a package for the Blazers that makes it worth their while to trade even an age 34, 35 superstar who really hasn't fallen off that much, if any, in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Dame's peak is, speaking about point guards extending their run, Dame is still awesome. If he's lost anything, you really don't see it that much game to game. I mean, for casual fans who tune in when Dame is going off, you really don't see it that much. So,
as a basketball fan, though, Hero and Robinson for Lillard would.
Yeah, there's the other one.
That would be fun. Portland should never do that, but as a basketball fan, Jimmy, Bam, and Lillard would be fun.
Jimmy, Bam, and Lillard would be fun, and as Hyken points out, your return is the guy who spent the entirety of the NBA Finals dressed like Bad Bunny. That guy.
That's pretty good.
Or rather, a guy dressed as a suburban teenager who thinks he's Bad Bunny, I think would be
in 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying, like, it is, of all of the deals that Portland could make, it's just like, you're basically telling your fans, hey guys, for the next decade, develop a hobby.
Do not give Pat Riley, Damian Lillard. That would be a hate crime.
Well,
Don't
no,
do
no, no,
that.
no, 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 no. Here's what's going to happen. Miami Heat fans are going to be even more insufferable when nobody's paying attention to them for more than 5 minutes at a time.
Can we just say for the record that all fans are insufferable in their own special
They
way?
are. But
I led
it's
this with a
also-
crusade against Southern Miss. That wasn't nice of me. That was an insufferable Tennessee fan monologue I just did.
Right.
Yeah.
All
No, that's
fan-
fine. I
Being
get all-
insufferable is one of the God-given rights of fandom.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
point of
that's
being a fan,
completely fine.
is to be
I'm totally-
unreasonable and unrealistic and petty and
I'm
bitter.
totally fine with if you're a fan and you want to be unreasonable. Hell, we pick a team when we're 4 or 5 years old and we let it ruin us for the rest of our lives. Of course, we're insufferable. The problem I have with some fan bases is they want to play this oppression Olympics where it's just like, guys, no, no, nobody cares.
Is this your way of
Okay.
leading into the Mets?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
it-
Sacramento Kings fans, I think they can take. They're allowed to be. They're allowed to sort of. They're allowed to.
What are they
beam
going to
it up.
gripe about? Oh
They're
my God,
fine.
we didn't get to
They-
like the beam in Game 7?
No, I'm just saying they actually had to deal with truly awful nonsense.
Yeah. Oh,
for-
absolutely. Yeah. No, like, there's some
for,
fan bases.
I don't know. What do you want to say? 18 years?
Yeah.
I also
20
saw, speaking of the Kings, Mitchell for CP3 was something that was
Yeah,
tossed
that's
around.
on the list. I was.
I actually don't hate that. Like, it's very basketball Twitter. Like, that's a full-on True Hoop blog from 2007 of, like, why Damian Mitchell actually is a better fit for Katie and Devin Booker than Chris Paul. But also, like, I don't hate that with Frank Vogel coming in, the defense first guy, where I'm like, hey, just go all day. Like, I could see it a little bit.
Frank Vogel's entire vibe to me is a thrice divorced substitute math teacher who maybe
So
had
Phil Mickelson?
what?
So Phil Mickelson?
No. There's a different. Phil is wealthy thrice divorced. Frank
Okay. What, is
Vogel
it
is-
Frank?
Frank is in massive.
He's driving
debt,
a Toyota
thrice
Camry.
divorced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good coach.
NBA World
Bad
Champion.
vibes.
Logo, by
I
the
also
way.
can't unsee, someone made the comparison. I don't know if y'all watch Impractical Jokers, but he looks like Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers, and I've never
Never
been able to
watched
unsee
it.
it. Like,
Never.
once I.
never
good.
never sat down for more than 5 minutes because there was either an NBA game or a college basketball game coming on like right after it.
It's a good 20 minutes. It's fine. It's harmless. It's fine. Bob, is it officially time to panic about the Mets?
No, we're fine with it. Speaking
Is
of
Alonso's gone.
Has the Earth been spinning? Of course, it's
Yeah.
time to panic about.
I
that.
just think
I'm
it's.
not panicking. I'm not panicking.
Why are you not panicking?
I'm not panicking because I have entered Mets sicko mode. And the sicko
Uh-huh.
mode is I want them to keep losing games so that our wealthy hedge fund owner decides to clear house and get Billy Epler out of there. And also Buck Showalter. I'm tired
You're
of
out
this
on
guy.
Buck Showalter.
I'm out. I find him. He was a good manager for 1 year, and then we learned why the Yankees and the Rangers and the Orioles decided, I don't know if he's the guy. His moves are logical and fine, but he does not have the ability to pull a team that is spiraling out of control off that track. I don't think. It's fine. He can go. But mainly Billy Epler, who has built. I think you can actually say this is, for dollar to production ratio, this is the worst team money could ever buy. They're the most expensive team.
That's
in
such
baseball.
a Mets headline. That's a book right there.
Speaking of
That's a book.
insufferable fans, it was a book. That was the name of the 1993 team. Worst team money could buy. about
Oh,
the
was that
93
really? Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, that's the book headline.
Part 2,
yeah.
volume 2.
And I'm fine with it. I want them to get rid of all the overpaid, underproducing veterans on this roster. Let the kids cook. Francisco Alvarez, my incredibly strong, lovable son. I get to watch him every day. That's great. Bring up some more kids. Let them cook. It's fine. Clear out all the wise old vets. Get as many prospects. It's tanking time, kids. It's fine.
Oh, so you don't want to make the playoffs?
They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not a good baseball team.
Wow, you're at that point.
They're not. They have.
Well,
at any
Don't
moment, they
reverse
have
jinx
about-
this. Don't do this,
At
Bob.
any moment, they have 1.5 good starting pitchers and 1.5 good relievers. Their lineup they've got one source of power, as you said, who is injured, and then again, my incredibly strong, beautiful son, Francisco Alvarez. They don't have it. They're not a playoff team. They should not sell off prospects in an abortive run to maybe snag the third wild card. That would be bad. Cut bait. Reload. Spend $600 million on Ohtani next year. There.
Wow.
It's fine, and I'm fine with that.
Also, why is David Stearns not GM yet? What's happening there? What's the wait? What's the holdup?
Because there is no consistent history of the Mets being a well-run franchise. Why would you take that job? That's why Billy Epler has the job. Because Steve Cohen came in. Obviously, there was a willingness to spend money. But the sort of institutional rot that has pervaded this team for the last 20 years is still there. And it's going to take time to draw out all the black mold and the pestilence and the vermin before an actual good baseball front office executive says, yeah, I'm going to run things here. The exterminators, this is the extermination phase. This is the controlled burn phase of a rebuild. We're still in that.
God.
It's fine. I'm not mad.
Okay.
I'm fine with it. I really am. This is not rationalizing. I really am. I'm like, okay, that's this team this year. I've experienced a lot of 75-87 to 82-20 Mets teams. I know what this is. This is very familiar terrain that we're back into.
Do you know what else is familiar about this?
What?
The Braves just winning multiple division titles in a row. Just
are they actually going to cash in and actually win a World Series?
They've already done it once. Andrew.
Yeah, they've done it once. They don't get to do it again. I hate them.
No,
I got it behind me.
Another 20 years for that.
I hate them with the fire of 1,000 suns.
We got to wait another 20 years for.
I hate them. I hate them. Speaking of insufferable fans, they cheered Pete Alonso's injury.
That's not great.
No,
but
it
also,
isn't, is it?
Pete Alonso talking smack when he's.
I'm sorry, they took a break from their racist chant to celebrate another player getting hurt. They're mixing it up.
Well, variety is the spice of life, Bob.
Uh-huh.
Throw it to me again. Throw it to me again. He didn't want it again. The Braves won that game. Andrew.
Also, you guys, your pitching staff is a little wobbly too. I think you shouldn't be counting your proverbial chickens yet.
Death, taxes, the Atlanta Braves won the NL East. Andrew Hammond. What's your pick of the week here?
Obviously not Mariah Mills' Twitter feed. It is probably
NBA Twitter knows what he's talking about. Other people might not.
Also, and Zion just like doing a school charity event, like while this is all going on and never addressing any of it, is just top notch.
You guys have both watched The Office. You know that part where Michael says it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Zion's PR team right now.
There are a lot of memes. There are a lot of Zion memes going around. I have a particularly rude one, which I'll share in the group chat later.
Please do.
Can't wait. My pick of the week, honestly, is just Monday and Tuesday night, we may see the Denver Nuggets and the Las Vegas Knights win championships for the first time. And I think those are special moments because fans will be born out of these moments. And I think that these are special to watch. And I think, we all look at Jokic as this big oaf. And, according to some people who are, supporting Chris Christie, Stephen A. Smith, he is, he can't jump onto a curb. Yet he is
supporting Chris Christie?
Yeah.
Bob, as an online guy, I thought Bob would know this one.
I missed that. Oh, yeah.
But it's kind of weird and hilarious. But anyway, to see a guy like Nikola Jokic, who is doing all these historic things in the finals, and his reaction is just like, okay, it's there's something endearing about it. It's not like an insufferable endearing, but also I think the Vegas Golden Knights, the fact that they've the only franchise in Vegas who has organically built a fan base.
Someone on another podcast said this, and I think it's really right. There are a lot of attempts to shoehorn in franchises to Vegas. Obviously, the Raiders are there, and depending on how quickly John Fisher's various apparatchiks and flacks can pull the wool over the eyes of the Nevada legislature. There may be another one very soon. By the way, that's delightful. If you want to watch an owner's doofus employees get absolutely rinsed, I encourage you to watch the hearings about whether or not Nevada should devote hundreds of millions of dollars to this misbegotten franchise. But the Knights came in. The Knights were not that, and because it happened right after the Las Vegas shooting is when the team was announced that there was a need for the actual residents, not the tourists who everyone is banking on to fill the seats most of the time. There was a real need for some kind of communal thing, for lack of a better word, something to rally around that felt real. And yeah, it is incredibly cheesy to consider a sports team being a source of communal pride, but it's true. And so that because of that, the Vegas Knights were, you don't consider Nevada to be a hotbed for hockey, but a series of unforeseen events made it so. That led to them the locals really rallying around this team. And I think that's cool.
And as we've seen with the NHL over the last 25, 30 years, when you see the impact of what hockey in Los Angeles did, when you see the impact of what the Arizona Coyotes did for that state, because here's what I'm saying. There's a kid named Austin Matthews.
I heard of that
Toronto
kid.
Maple Leafs. So, like, in 15 to 20 years, we're going to see maybe it's 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 guys who are in the NHL out of that, that mountain region, who fell in love with the game of hockey and became hockey fans because of the Vegas Golden Knights. So I think we need to really kind of take back and understand that these are some special moments that we may encounter over the next 48 to 72 hours.
There you go. Bob, what about you? What's your pick of the week?
I found a new show that I like.
What is that?
That show is Dead Ringers.
Dead Ringers.
On
What is it
Amazon
about?
Prime. Dead Ringers is it was a movie by David Cronenberg in the 1980s starring Jeremy Irons. And it has been remade as a TV series starring the always delightful Rachel Weisz as twin, let's call them experimental gynecologists. And if you're a David Cronenberg fan, you'll get an idea about what I'm hinting at when I say experimental gynecology. Yeah, Andrew's making a face. That is the correct face to make.
I'm going to Google now.
I'm pointing.
What is that show?
Dead Space Ringers.
But you got to type in Amazon Prime because the movie comes up first, Andrew. I'm looking at it too.
Yeah, well, I just looked up Dead Ringers 2023, and yeah.
Rachel Weisz plays twins. She plays both of them, of course. It is explicit and graphic and very disturbing. I'm only, I think, 1 3/4 episodes in, but it already has the Bob Silverman seal of approval. I find it good, and again, Rachel Weisz, always delightful, and this is a star vehicle for her in some. I would say
I just looked at the synopsis, and I'm like, oh,
yeah. You see what I said when I kept it PG when I described it as say experimental.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's getting real with Rachel Weisz time, guys.
How do you pronounce her last name?
Weisz.
Weiss?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Weiss.
It's European.
Okay. Yeah. Weiss.
The V is W's. Weiss, but
But it's not Weiss. It's Weiss.
I think so.
Owen Wilson stage of
it's an homage.
Reading the synopsis, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, no spoilers, but that's the correct response, and it is quite good. I recommend it.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Oh no.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
You just ruined the rest of Andrew's weekend.
No. He didn't. No, he didn't.
No.
He didn't. It's fine. It's
Andrew,
fine.
I want you to watch this show. And I would like you. We'll hash it out next week on the pod. We'll get some feedback.
Sure. It's on Amazon Prime.
Chase, because of you and Mrs. Chase's Sam's predilection for quite graphic material. I think you might decide. I wouldn't call it horror, but I think body horror would be a good way to describe this.
Okay.
Well. Cronenberg.
Yeah.
All hail the new flesh.
But usually the Bob Silverman approval always has to have some type of element of
Willem Dafoeing.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's in a new movie coming out, by the way.
It's Dafoe adjacent.
Yeah, I forgot. I saw the trailer for it. I forgot the title, but I was like, universe. Bob's gonna be there.
Which Willem Dafoe movie is this? He works a lot.
It's we'll talk about it in the group chat.
Deal.
There you go. Is it Willem or William?
Willem.
I just want to keep doing this bit. Like we're just
I hate
like.
you.
Bob Silverman, Andrew Hammond, always a pleasure, and I will talk to y'all next week.
Well done, nephew. Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.